Alright. New tier list. Now with, you know, Naruto meta, Obito TTJ meta, blah blah blah, start from the bottom. The stuff in C tier is mostly irrelevant and sees no use whatsoever, but we'll just go through it. Yeah, Killer Bee, he doesn't do anything. He's not a threat. He's pretty much useless. Hashirama, same deal. He really doesn't do anything. You use him on meme teams that make sages have like -1 cooldown. You want to use Ashrae P1, you throw him in there, and he can reduce Ashrae's cooldown to make him have his mystery every turn and still do no damage. Um, and also he loses his ability to be immune, so he just gets controlled every single time. Datara is another meme. He's fun. You can have a lot of fun with him in DB, but no immunity, he gets countered easily. You have to run him P1. Everybody has Mr. Chinese New Year Hoshi. We all know he works. +1 chase, gives immunity. His mystery is really good. Suppresses immunity for 2 turns, which can be useful. He can be pretty good on free-to-play teams. He's not going to be used on pay-to-win teams anymore. Kazekage Gara. In the Naruto meta, anything that buffs Naruto is a benefit to you. The meta for him is, or for those teams, is just literally buff Naruto and then die. I mean, yeah, his buff goes away when he dies, but it is what it is. Summer Kakashi is still good in Arena. This is not really an Arena tier list, though. That would probably be a lot different looking. He's largely useless now. Why invest in him when you can just get Naruto BT? Roshi, same deal as Gara. He buffs Naruto. Kushina doesn't do anything anymore. She's atrocious. Yeah, Swimsuit Tsunade is pretty bad. Despite having the same slash mechanic as Naruto, she's really bad. She doesn't do anything. It's really hard to put her anywhere. Her healing is really confusing. It doesn't work. But yeah. She basically never heals who you want her to. Naruto Ronin's been irrelevant forever. Still is. No immunity. Shisui Kimono. In theory, you could get irremovable ignite onto Naruto, or Obito TTJ, but he doesn't do enough damage to kill either of them. He doesn't scale fast enough, and Naruto will just dodge his chases. He probably could fuck up Edo Madara, but how you're fighting him that often that you need a counter. It depends. If you're somehow in a position where you invested in Shisui Kimono and you're fighting Madaras all the time, you probably can beat Madara up. Actually, no, he does a lot of pure nin, doesn't he? Madara would dunk him. Shisui Susanoo needs a BT. He's fucking horrible. Kakazu EGF, he's irrelevant now. He's pure nin damage. Everything's immune to pure nin. I have to do the old free-to-play king on here. He's still good before you get Naruto. B tier, 40% attack and nin buff is phenomenal. It's there for 5 turns as long as your buff doesn't get removed. That's a great thing. Alright, Kushina Christmas scales with Chakra use, so keep in mind, if you lower the Chakra cost of your P1 to 0, she will not scale them. It's not based off like their initial cost or anything like that. It's the actual Chakra cost, which is fun. So she's cool. She scales crits, semi-useful. Tobirama, irremovable tag on chase is always useful. The barrier is really good. Karin Taka, I mean, we now have units that heal themselves. Healers are largely irrelevant. You might want to fucking run her if you're running like a non-immune P1, and she'll definitely help you out. Kimmy really isn't relevant anymore. We really can't do anything with cooldown cost. You can't do anything to Obito TTJ's cooldown. He really doesn't do much again. He just basically buffs the enemy. You really don't want to use him anymore outside of Arena. Like 3v3. I mean, he's okay in like war. You can like bomb the enemy team, but it's just he's really not too good anymore. Tsunade, same thing. Dead pick on 90% of teams. When people used to run her P4 during where Naruto was on every fucking team, a horrible dead pick 90% of the time. In DB, if she's on some position, she might help out, and worse, she can help out a little bit. The revive's still decent. That's why she's not in C tier, but she's largely a dead pick. There's more impactful units. Asuma Windblade gives much needed chakra, buffs you, solid pick. Tachietto is largely irrelevant now. There's way better units that reflect debuffs and control people. High Kimono is a meme. He doesn't really do anything. He does have a synergy with what is it, Shinobi Alliance, and just like Naruto, to where they can't die for like the first like 5 hits that kill them or something turn 2, which might save you against someone. It all depends. It depends on how it works, how the fight goes. Okay, Obito Rage I should have put in C tier. He's so fucking bad. Like, having a unit that has to hit half health just to be able to do anything, and then he doesn't chase himself. He has buffs. His kit was buffed in China. Who knows when we'll get the buffs, and it still won't make him relevant. One of his chases does decent damage. His mystery's okay. He largely doesn't do anything, and he's not immune. He doesn't have real defensive mechanics. He also clears buffs and debuffs off of himself when he goes into rage mode, even irremovable debuffs. But clearing his own buffs is pretty bad. He's cool, but terrible. Alright, Hoshi. He's just a great support for Naruto. Or any buff team, really. He gives a shitload of buffs. Yeah. Minotaur, it's the barrier. That's his only reason to be there. The funny thing about him is if they're running the new pain, that's a maximum standard count of 10 extra, 10 extra standards to that new pain if they're on. So he's kind of risky to run now. Zetsu, he's really easy to counter, but at the same time, if you run this and like a set against your opponents, you might win a fight off of stealing their OP units, but it really depends. Like, he's not consistent at all, and he's pretty easy to shut down because he dodges mysteries, and everything has an unmissable mystery now. So yeah. Kurenai Summer is just always good. If your opponent has any units that are not immune to debuff, she's gonna chaos them. She, suppresses immunity for 2 turns, plus mobile, sets chakra cost. She's just a consistent support. Probably better in arena, but she can be useful. Sage Kabuto, he's fallen out of favor. He's okay. He can do a lot of shenanigans. You can use him as a chakra battery now with different BTs. Most people were not running those BTs before. He's a good chakra battery, though. The revives and stuff. It depends. Like, so against, if you're fighting Obito TTJ teams, you might use him, and just have your backline revive constantly, because it's not Naruto. You don't have to worry about getting splashed to death. It just depends on what you're doing. Tachi Kimono is a fucking meme, but he can be used to great success against Naruto teams, like with the Zabuza Ronin, Tachi Kimono team. You can beat Naruto teams 1v1 with that, because Zabuza Ronin OP against Naruto. I just do it. So his mystery makes Naruto not have a standard for 2 turns. Well, he makes anybody do that because of the way that round counting works. Because it says it only lasts until the end of the round, that irremovable blinds on you, but when you steal a standard, that makes it the next round or some weirdness. Fucking Oasis logic. So basically, I've never tried this, but you could probably run him P2 against Naruto teams and honestly shut down another Naruto if you can get the mystery off. It depends on if they know he's a threat or not. They probably think he's just a meme because most people don't run him. But he actually probably could consistently shut Naruto down. Because if Naruto losing standards for 2 turns, it's 2 turns for you to try and win. And you're not running a P1. Run Naruto P1 or Madara P1. And then Madara Edo specifically. And then go from there. Ashrae, the best boy for Fox. I mean, I've thought about teams with him, but like it's it's hard to pick him because he doesn't do anything till round two, and units that don't have an impact till round two are largely useless, and probably unless he's like in position two, you're gonna die. Like I'm 2.4 million power. My P3 and P4 get murdered, but I mean I fight 3 million power opponents, so I can't slot him in. Again, if you're like way weaker, where like the P1's not even that much stronger than the rest of the positions, you could probably use him a lot. That's why he's an A tier. He has potential. It really depends on what you're fighting. Um, Extra chases are really good. Now, he was really bad in Naruto meta because dodge chase is broken, so he did nothing then, but that's another thing. I guess you're fighting Naruto's if you're lower power, so you're fucked. Yeah, it's hard to fit him. Abiki, he's he's good. I mean, if you want to control people, he's not a bad choice. Um, Alpedo Great Ninja War is largely a meme. He doesn't do any damage. He makes almost no impact, but if you can yeet your opponent's P1 and win from that, it works. Also, fun fact, it says that if you're at 100 chakra, it will yeet them for 2 turns. So when you press the button, you're no longer at 100 chakra, you're at 80. So you not only do you have to fucking hit 100 chakra, you also have to fucking, I think you have to make his chakra cost 0. So you need like 2 units or like a partner to make his chakra cost 0 to be able to yeet for 2 turns. Or it's bugged. I don't know. I tried it at 100 chakra and it would not go for 2 turns. So I think that's how it works. Sugetsu, solid buffs. Like everything's in Akatsuki. His +1 cooldown is really not irrelevant anymore. It was way better in Madara TTJ meta because giving any RNG in your favor against Madara TTJ would help out a lot. Nagato, making Madara Edo not miss can be helpful, and then chakra cost up can be helpful. It depends. He's not bad. He's a decent support. Um, Madara, I guess, what are we gonna say? Living. He's a buff, right? So he's a buff for Konoha units. That's about it. He doesn't do anything outside of that. New Hiruzen is not great. If Naruto BT didn't exist, he probably would do really well. He has very cool mechanics, but he's just not. He's a P1. Like you can't really use him anywhere else, and he doesn't do a lot. Another thing that sucks about him is his passive that makes it so after 3 hits you take 100% reduced damage. That doesn't work for him. If that worked for him, he'd be a lot more intimidating. All right, this is Danzo Zanagi. He's a meme. He's a meme, but you can use him like you use Hiruzen Living, to where you can deal like 60, 70, 80% of your opponent's P1's health with their mystery, but he's not immune to debuff, so it's really easy to shut him down. I don't know if I made a video. I don't think I made a video of it. I was running him P2 during a Naruto meta, and someone I kept fighting who was a higher power than me said I was cheesing them using Danzo, and he was running Naruto with the Y+1 chase, which hits 1 time. And if he was using the +2, he would have been able to prevent my Danzo. Because every fucking time his dumbass would target my Danzo on round 2 when Danzo can use his mystery, and I would just reflect the debuff off. But if he had fucking the chase, he would have shut him down. But then I would deal like 60k out of his 90k health to him every time, and then and just finish him off afterwards. And it was so fucking funny. He was pretty unhappy. New Karin is pretty fun. She has a pretty cool mechanic to where she reflects 1 debuff aimed at each one of your units. So that's cool. She makes one of your units take 0 damage and gives them shield, which is not great. In our scaling meta, off of healing, she probably would be an interesting choice for Naruto. A little. It depends. Another cool thing is she chases the same way that like Naruto and Minotaur do, so she's a great support for any of your like Obito TTJ. Who the fuck else chases like that? Ashrae, Madara TTJ, like their chase chain. She's a consistent living, chase for them to go all the way through the chase chain, which is she's not bad. She scales. I think it's nin and resistance every turn, which is decent. Sasori Edo basically can only be used with Madara Edo teams, and it's really hard to pull off what he's good at. But you can make like a super nuke team. I guess with Kimmy is what you also want to do. So you're doing just like a massive, huge increase to his mystery. But it's very easy to prevent that. Other than that, he's really good. He revives every turn, and then he can revive your own team. And he has a buff that doesn't go away that buffs Edo units, and that's fantastic. Toby New Year he's largely a meme. His mechanic to where he can reduce the chance to dodge chases down to 25% sounds good in theory. They should have fucking made it so that you have no evasion if it's on you, and then he probably still wouldn't be slotted in because he doesn't do anything. But that can kind of work in your favor. It's just very hard to find a slot for him. You can't run him P1. He doesn't have undodgeable. He dodges one attack. He's not immune to debuffs. He just gets destroyed. But I think he has potential long term. I think he could be really good later. He does have buffs coming to him, but they're not very good buffs. Killer Bee New Year. He generates a massive amount of chakra for your team and then blinds people, which can be really good. If you run him with the new pain, you can give your extra pain like 2 more standards. Oh, and then he gives everybody extra standard, but that can be useful. Like if you use Indra and get anxiety on their P1, they're chunking themselves for more damage. It's really, you have to know what you're doing because you are buffing your opponent, but he's pretty fun. The new Pain Chico is he's okay. It's hard. There are just better units that are more impactful. He just came at like a weird time to where it's like hard to justify using him. I think at weaker powers I would use him. But like in my power, he has to sit in P3 or P4 and he just gets murdered. Being like hidden is not a good buff. If hidden made it so that if you get hit with an attack that hits more than one cell, you take less damage, then he would be good because then it would be like he gets reduced AoE damage, but he just gets destroyed no matter where he's sitting. So you basically are using him for one turn of scaling, and he doesn't scale that much. And it's decent, but he's okay. Alright, S tier, Modera TTJ, no longer God tier. Sorry, dude, you rely on an entire fucking team to do anything. I brought him into fucking DB recently and fought Obito TTJs. They fucking put one anxiety debuff on me from Indra, and I murdered myself down to fucking 50% health turn 1 and lost from there against similar power opponents that probably would have lost to me if I had better P1. Like, it's just, he's so easy to counter now. He relies on an entire team to support him. A living team. He loses to he is the most expensive unit in the game. And he loses to, like, BT-wise. Because Obito TTJ's BT is not rigged for some reason. His is super fucking rigged. And he loses to a free-to-play unit. You see 70Ks with fucking Naruto full BT. He cannot fight Naruto at all. He can't even come close to fighting Naruto. It's great. But yeah, so, he's still amazing against most things. It's just he's not the king anymore. Same with Modera GW. He's got some possible BTs you could run to where you have unmissable chase and you might be able to control a Naruto for a turn. But I don't know, and the shields are not a bad thing. And, he does good unmissable damage. He's still strong. He still can be put anywhere and be consistent. Kisame is still amazing. He's pretty much one of the best supports. There's a definite styles of teams you can run with Obito TTJ, and one of those styles is if you run Kisame with him, and then you hit your opponent's P1, get their chakra cost up 20. Now, this doesn't fucking matter against Naruto, but it matters against... if you have Obito TTJ, you're winning against Naruto anyway. So let's just say anything else, right? So you're running that, when Obito uses his mystery, it limits their chakra to 40 for 2 turns, so they won't be able to mystery, and that's a good strat against other Obitos. It's something I ran in the beginning, but my strats have evolved since then. But he's good, you know, steals chakra control. There's a lot. Oh yeah, and another thing is when when this is like a weird strat that only people with Obito TTJ will understand. So let's say you are faster than your opponent, okay, and you're both using Obito TTJ. So you're gonna use your auto mystery on turn 2. You're gonna hit a 20 combo and you're gonna steal chakra. Or if you don't hit a 20 combo, what's gonna happen is your opponent is gonna go, and then normally what you would do is you would wait to hit your mystery until both of the auto ones are resolved, but when Kisame's there, he steals chakra from the auto mystery. So you have to fucking queue your mystery up. But the fucked up part about that is everybody runs +2 passive, and +2 passive makes you interrupt units that you crit. So if you basically have to commit to either having your chakra stolen and hoping you get it back, or being interrupted. And it's like a really bad decision you don't want to fucking make. But that's why he's like an amazing support for Obito TTJ. He's the best support for Madara, because Madara needs Chakra. He's just generally just a fantastic support. Conan, another fantastic support. So giving combo increase is amazing. Giving +1 standard is amazing. Most units that are good are Akatsuki. And then her mystery, if you land 2 rounds of Irremovable Ignite on an Obito TTJ, that's probably enough for you to win against him if you're not using Naruto. Yeah. Sasuke, Rene, you know, Fear. Fear is amazing. Now, it's just pretty much S rank against only Naruto, but Naruto's everywhere. You're either fighting Naruto, you're probably not fighting Pain P1, but if you are, he's got a lot of counters that are really easy to beat him with. So you're fighting this, or this. So Pain, Obito, Naruto, or Madara P1. You're not fighting other P1s than that. But anyways, okay, Rin's amazing. Rin forces your opponent to play in a specific way and target her, and then they become predictable. You know what they're going to do. There's a lot of mind games with her. Depending on if they have bad crit luck, she could stay up for way too fucking long. But she's not perfect. She's easily counterable. And she amplifies healing, and everything has leech, and leech gets amplified by that. She's good. Most people at the highest level aren't using her. Most people in the free-to-play level, almost everyone is fucking using her. Every team has Rin on it at the free-to-play level, because it's not easy for people within like the 200 to like 500k range to just insta-gib a P4. Like, that doesn't fucking happen until you're around like 1,000,000 power. Probably more than 1,000,000 power. So she becomes insanely difficult to deal with, which is good. Good counterplay. Kakazu AC he's fucking annoying, right? So let's say you're fighting against another Obito TTJ with yours, and they have an Indra P2, and you finally fucking kill their Indra P2, and something on your team dies, and their Kakazu revives and brings the Indra back. So if every time that the Indra is alive, you're not scaling, and that can cause you to lose, or healing for that matter. He's great. He was really shitty in the Naruto meta, because you were just a complete retard if you used him. Most people used him still. But look, he was pretty much consistently in position fucking 4, and you have a persistent P4 for them their Naruto to target to splash you to death. He was not worth putting on those teams. He was just a P4 bait. There were better units to run. It's just whatever. People couldn't figure that out. Guy Summer, now that chakra control is like really irrelevant, he's really fucking good. Giving 0 chakra costs like Madara Edo is insane. Obito TTJ is insane. Pain is even more insane. He can go crazy from position 2. You could use him just to get the chakra cost down turn 1, and then just he's irrelevant from P4. Yeah, he's really good. And he has a chance. Pretty much never happens to give your P1 an extra standard, but he has a chance. If they're Kona, I think. But anyways, Hinata Bride. Okay, Hinata Bride has she's good. She can give an extra standard and chase to a random unit if your P1 gets hit. That's fantastic. But her, what the fuck is her, I don't remember her defensive mechanic. Lowers damage by like a flat percentage. It's really fucking strong. Um, it's so strong that like I will fight 3 mils with my DB partner who's a mill, and the 3 mils will not kill his P4 because Hanada has Endure up. Because they sleep on her, they ignore her. She's really strong. She's a really good support. Uh, Still RNG related, but Endure is incredibly strong if you need it. A lot of times you might not need it. All right, new Orochimuru. He's a meme. So if Pain didn't exist, he would be used on every fucking team at the highest pay to win level because of the simple fact that all you have to do is bring him out and he buffs your team, and every turn that he survives, he just buffs your team more. You could use him as a P1, but he's not immune, so you'll just get fucking destroyed. He's fun though. Actually a lot of fun. He's probably the most fun unit in the game. Using him in like I haven't used him in Ninja Exam because my Ninja Exam's done, but I use him in like Strong Approach, and every turn he summons Minotaur again. You'll have like 10 of them, not really, 4 or 5 on your team. He's fun. He's super fucking fun. My boy Kimono, same reasons. Oh, for fuck's sake. Same reasons as Hanada-ish. Not Hanada, fucking Guy Summer, Jesus. Chakra cost 0, and then immune to interruption. So I tend to have my DB partner run her P1 on me, because I fight people that are way stronger than me, and then I don't have to risk getting interrupted. I could just hit my mystery right away and not worry about the consequences of it, and then Chakra cost 0 is insane. It's insanely insane. It's really, really, really good. You can do so many shenanigans with the new Pain with Chakra cost 0. It's fantastic. Alright, last S tier, here's in Living. He was phenomenal during the Naruto meta. If you ever go into DB and your opponents both have him sitting there, you are going to have to play very, very, very carefully. Because if you fucking kill him, they're going to chunk you for half your health, and you're going to lose. Like, that's enough to turn the tide. He's incredible in a lot of situations because of his mechanic. It forces your opponent to really think about what they're doing. Plus, this game's a laggy, shitty game where it's like he'll revive and you can actually click on him as he's in the revive animation, but you can't fucking mystery him because it's gonna unclick and then he's gonna be clickable again and then you can do it. And that fucking delay of having to click him will get you killed. But that's just the way the game works. Imagine if this game was fucking turn-based, where you got to actually make decisions and the game was strategic and people couldn't cheese you with fucking, um, like bullshit mechanics like, like they hit an animation and then they wait for like the last couple seconds before your next thing is about to happen. They hit the mystery and you have 2 milliseconds to press an interrupt. And of course you don't get it off. But in any case. Alright, S tier, God tier, whatever. New Pain. Okay, so for most people, he's not going to be God tier. He becomes God tier when you get to the level that your P2 can, with scaling, deal with the opponent's P1. And I'll explain. So if you use him P1 and you use Obito TTJ P2, what you can do is you can hit their P1. Let's say it's an Obito TTJ, and the way that they work is Obito TTJ suppresses immunity for 2 turns and does a mobile for 1, and Pain suppresses immunity for 1 turn and does a mobile for 2. So what happens is if you hit for both of their chases, the opponent's mobile for 2 turns if they can't clear it. 2 turns! So, it's pretty broken. And then he also fucks with Chakra cost. So, you can give him plus 20 and then use your Obito's fucking mystery next turn. And then they can't mystery and they're immobile. It's a shit show. And that's how I can beat 3 mil opponents. Okay? Because I used Obito TTJ P1 and him P2. And what ends up fucking happening is, because I fight stronger and faster opponents, is they just hit my fucking Obito and then my backline, and then it's just RNG. With this, there's no fucking RNG. There's like 0 RNG. You go, you hit the mystery on the target of your choice, they get controlled, they get fucked. It's great. He does really bad damage. Otherwise, he's all mystery damage. He's like 90% mystery damage. Just standard. You can standard 10 times in a row. And you'll watch, and it'll barely increase. Even though he's scaling off every standard, it doesn't look like it increases at all. His damage is fucking atrocious. But his mystery damage is phenomenal, and that's something you can do. So you give him Chakra cost 0. Let's say they're using Edo Minato or the Orochimuru to summon an Edo Minato that won't die. He'll get 10 standards, and you have a chance to reset on every standard, and you can spam mysteries like you can spam them as many times as you get resets. So I think it's like 6 times. I don't remember how many times. It's like 5 or 6 mysteries, and they cycle back and forth between the 2 mysteries. And if you do that to your opponent, they're not gonna fucking live. Then he looks like he hits hard, but that like never happens. He's there literally to set up Obito TTJ to be broken and scale and just control your opponent. And if you're fighting like teams that are weaker than you doing that, they literally will find out almost immediately. Because if they're weaker than you and you use both your mysteries with your P1 back to back, you're going to kill their fucking backline. And then they're going to have no way to ever come out of control besides like a chain of control fails, which is possible. It's just unlikely. Because you have, 2 attempts each? Yeah. So it's whatever. But yeah, his chase does no damage. His mysteries do all his damage. His standard does no damage. Yeah, Obito TTJ is completely fucking broken. His standard hits like a truck. His chase hits like a truck. His mystery hits like a truck. His free mystery hits like a truck. He heals constantly. Every time he heals, he scales. He's broken. He has no real counter. Well, he has counters. It's just... okay, let's just say what P1s can beat him. Not counting P1 Pain with P2 Obito TTJ, that doesn't really count. Because that's pretty much, in that team, Obito TTJ P2 does all of the damage. Like, trust me, he does. But let's say Madara Edo can beat him. Madara TTJ can beat him. It's very unlikely. You're probably way stronger than your opponent when that's happening. And that's it. His counters are having Ignite on him at all times so he doesn't scale. If you can't get Ignite on him, you're gonna fucking lose because he starts hitting insanely hard. Like, insanely hard as he's scaling. He scales really fast. He's really strong. Yeah. Alright, Naruto. I mean, splash damage OP, target P4 every time. Not really, but he's insane. He self-scales, he self-leeches, he has dodge chase, he has, like, almost no counters. He's just an annoying asshole. He ruined the meta. I hate that he ever came into the game because he used to fight a variety of P1s. Everybody had a different P1 they invested in, and it was tit for tat, and it was a variety. Right now, for I don't know what power level you start seeing like these two at and shit like that, and stop seeing Naruto's. He. Oh, his counter. Sorry. He has one counter. Obito TTJ. Just spend $5,000, guys. It's no problem. Full BT. Well, technically, like, Indra counters him in a way, because you can mitigate. There's ways to tilt the fight in your favor. So, Rin, depending on if they're smart or not, because, okay, some people don't fucking realize this, but, like, Rin doesn't reduce the damage of the splash damage. So, if your opponent's using Rin and you're using Naruto P1, okay, all you have to do is fucking use, like, Fire Main, Suppression of Immunity Immobile mystery on the Rin, do 1 damage to her. Now then target her P4 with your Naruto mystery, and you'll blow up their fucking backline. You'll blow up everyone. I don't know. Yeah, so Rin is not a perfect counter. She's an okay counter. But again, she forces your opponent to play in a specific way. But yeah, here is then Edo. Again, you can interrupt his mystery, but not Edo, a living. He's really good. Yeah, Conan, if you get Irremovable Ignite on him for 2 turns, it's really bad. If you get Anxiety on him, he's going to take a lot of damage to himself, especially because he's going to have Irremovable Ignite on him. He doesn't have, but he's not none of these like hard counter. Also, Sasuke Fear. None of these hard counter them. It's just like tipping RNG in your favor. If you're fighting even Naruto versus Naruto, there's so much RNG included in that fight. You basically, the game just plays itself. You don't play the game at that point. All you do is you launch your mystery every turn at their backline until neither side has a backline, and then it's who gets resets, who's faster, and who crits who. And that's just fucking RNG. So like up to that point, which is why I kept saying throughout this that why are these units good? Because they buff Naruto. Because what you want is you want to tip the scales in your favor. So if you go into the Naruto versus Naruto fight and you're at 80% health and they're at like fucking 50% health, you're probably gonna win. Like that's enough of a buffer to where you can not crit a couple turns in a row and probably win. Indra counters literally fucking everything. I mean, Irremovable Ignite is completely broken. If you're using a team that has like let's say Obito, Indra, and then the new Orochimuru, okay, and they have pain, so you will Indra their pain, and then he will get 100 fucking standards, and by the end of round 1 he'll have 1% fucking health, and he'll die next turn to Ignite, okay, because of anxiety being really fucking strong. Yeah, he's fantastic. He's a fantastic unit. If only he wasn't pure Nin, he could be used as like a P1 and it would be fun, but you know, pure fucking Nin outside of his one mystery. Alright, Madara Edo. I put him in God tier because he can fucking beat Obito TTJ. I have YouTube video up where I fought people at stronger power than me, and now mind you, they fucking suck at the game because they don't use 10-10 assists and they stack all their units together and they don't know how splash damage works. But he has all the mechanics to which to be able to beat the strongest unit in the fucking game. And he can fight Naruto. Can he win every time? Probably not. It's probably 60-40 in the Naruto's favor, but you have to understand something. We can talk about how to play optimally. Most people don't know how to fucking play this game. They're fucking horrible at it, especially the people that have played long term. The longer they play, the less fucking well they play, in my experience. Like, if you think your opponent's always going to make the right play, you're high. Like, that's not how people play this game. They fuck up all the fucking time. It's all about, like, predicting stupid behavior and, like, making your team, I don't know, able to handle bad RNG, which is impossible. Most of the combat in this game is automated. It's all RNG based. I don't know if I fucking forgot anyone, but, you know, that was my video. There's my tier list. Spend $5,000 on Obito TTJ. He's broken.